Hey everyone, Jack Hilton here, aka Unsung Empath, with another video. With May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to take the time to talk about, self-care. We hear it all the time in our workplace and even in school. If you're a student, your professors are probably telling you all the time to take the time for self-care. And it's not always easy, especially when you are doing full-time school or you're a full-time parent and you're also in school. You also have to do an internship and you also have to work and make money and you also have to take care of the house. It makes it really, really hard to think about self-care. I did a little brief video in the winter where I just kind of did a little fun video of my son and I, my wife, out in our yard, just hanging out in the snow. And really, it is that simple sometimes to just take a minute to be present and hit that pause button, right, in our lives, because it is super chaotic, and just be in the moment. And you don't realize just how much that has a positive impact to your brain and your overall life. And just being present with the family, right? That in itself in your interpersonal relationships truly makes a difference. But sometimes it's not always snowing, right? So we're not always back in the backyard building snowmen or having barbecues during the summer. Sometimes the weather doesn't hold out for that, right? This week is supposed to be raining all week, so sometimes also when we hear self-care, we think it has to be this like planned out, it's a vacation we have to book next year, and we have to work way overtime in order to go on this vacation, and then we can have self-care, that makes it just kind of scary, right? Because you're like, oh man, I just got to buckle down and get through this entire work week in order to just take a break or just have a weekend. And as you know, if your weekend is anything like my weekend, I blink and it's Monday. So self-care for me means truly being present with my family. And that looks kind of different all the time, right? My wife and I, we like to meet up if I'm working at Mount Hope Cemetery, which is it's funny because you're like, who wants to go to a cemetery to do self-care? It's amazing little trails. A lot of people actually in the Bangor area go there for a nice stroll in the park, especially on beautiful days. They really, I think it's like one of, if not two, like national gardens. You can correct me on that. It's something big like that. Wikipedia doesn't lie. But we go into the cemetery and we walk around with my son on his little bike and my daughter Delia in a stroller, and we just kind of be present with each other. And then we might also go for frozen yogurt, even though I say no more ice cream. I got to eat healthy. Self-care can literally be something like that. For me, it's that. It's also playing my PS5 with my wife. She and I have this rivalry going in WWE 2K22. She's currently beating me in my general manager mode, but the fun competition between a spouse or a sibling or a friend counts. I also love to draw. I'm not the best artist, but I truly like to just come up with creative ideas and stories. So I often find myself, whether I'm feeling a little anxious, drawing. So I have a bunch of just pictures here and artistic stuff, and I have Stan Lee's How to Write a Comic Book. I got this a few years ago. Still in the process of writing a comic book. Haven't started, but drawing, yes, and road mapping, yes. So awesome for me. But self-care is being able to just spend some quality time with yourself. It doesn't have to necessarily mean you're going to produce something big. It just means that you're just kind of in your own kind of world. Another thing for me is spirituality. I am a licensed minister. Spirituality is very important for me, so I like to spend time with the Word of God. I love to just be able to find time somewhere in my house in the morning or in the evening and just kind of sit quietly, or even on Sunday during worship, just being able to just be in my own world with my coffee cup in my hand. I love to wrestle with my son. Again, it's that being present with family members that is just, I don't know, there's something that you can't replace with that. Another thing I started a blog, Unsung Empath, as well. That's kind of my domain name and all the things I do, whether it's Twitter, TikTok, this, Unsung Empath. And so I've been blogging. I had one entry talking a little bit about my transition from TV news to social work and just kind of what that process was like for me. But just writing, I think that, I've always had a storytelling component to who I am, whether, again, it's comic book or TV news or even doing what I'm doing right now. So being able to just be able to write and get some of the things I think about all day on paper, and it's just relaxing. It's kind of meditative. I don't really meditate in the way that people do like yoga, but it's kind of meditative for me to be able to write, to draw, to hang out with my kids, go to church. I also recently started MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So that's been kicking my butt a little bit, but it's something I look forward to when I'm able to do that, especially with a newborn, right? As easy as it is. It's just removing myself from everyday pressures to invest in myself, whether physical health, mental health, spiritual health, emotional health. I think it's something like that that gets you looking forward to spending quality time with yourself, right? You don't need to book this vacation to go to Europe, as nice as that would be, right? Being able to start where you're already at and finding things that you could do with family members or even friends, whether it's a game night at someone's house, is really important. And I say that because if you're anything like me and you're a perfectionist and you're a workaholic, you start to realize that your world is shrinking. And now you're trying to fit in the world of work, right? And it's kind of like depression. Sometimes we're not just people who may be experiencing depression or anxiety. We're now living in anxiety or depression, right? It's no longer it fitting in our world, but we're fitting it in its world. And work is kind of like that. Sometimes we try to fit into work and make work kind of the little window of time that we have. It's so hard to remove it from work, especially when it's our world, and we kind of feel guilty about it. And I'm saying it should be the opposite. Honestly, as I've gotten older, I'm almost 30 on Sunday, I've started to easily just, when I'm home, I'm home. I put the little flip switch and I trust that I've implemented the necessary steps with my patients when I leave, and I trust that the staff there are able to do an amazing job for those patients of mine and that they'll be fine. Sometimes not everyone is in an inpatient setting, so some people are worried about their patients, but it's coming up with the boundaries, but also the resources with them and just working with them. Sorry, I'm rocking my daughter right now. And just coming up with those strategies and trusting in those strategies that you've implemented with your client. You gotta trust that they're able to do it. And that's kind of giving them the power back and allowing yourself to also have that power, right? Boundaries are so important with yourself and for others as well. And it's okay, because that's part of self-care. And it also leads into self-compassion, saying that, hey, I need some time for me, because if I don't have that time, I'm not going to be the best that I can for my clients or for my colleagues or for my spouse or my kids. You need to begin to focus on getting yourself to a place of feeling good, and that's okay. So find something, even something little like drawing superheroes like I do. It counts, and it's okay to say, hey, this is what I like to do on my quiet time. Drink some coffee. I have a pot of it every single day. It's not good. I mean, it's good, but it's okay to just take moments for yourself in your life and not necessarily have it this big planned out thing. It's great that you do, but it's also okay to just take moments to yourself. Find woods, sit in the woods and watch hawks and take pictures of them like I do in the summer. All of that counts. It's meditative in so many ways. It's grounding in so many ways. Grounding, when it comes to mindfulness meditation, derived from literally your feet on the ground, right? Being grounded. Sorry, my birds are not happy now, but they actually did a really good job because they didn't start screaming until just now. So I say that's a plus. But if you have any ideas and you want to share with others what you do for self-care, any recommendations that's working for you, I know that it's scary. It's scary to take time for yourself, especially when you feel that everyone's depending on you or that your job is requiring you to be 100% all the time. I'm saying it's okay to press the pause button and put all that time that you're putting there to yourself, because you're going to realize you're a better therapist, you're a better social worker, you're a better student, husband, pastor, work person, you name it. You're going to be better at what you do when you give the time back to you. So I say, find something you enjoy. Play some video games with a spouse. Read the Bible. Hang out with your kids. Wrestle them. Do some bow and arrows like I do my yard. Do you. It's okay to have self-care, and it's okay to give time for yourself. Again, if you have any input, share it. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I will hope to hear what great self-care strategies and techniques you have to share with everybody. Thank you so much.